After the resounding success of Balatro, similar games appear regularly, and their source of inspiration is often clear from their titles. There, for example, Vardatro, a variation of the board game Scrabble. There's a Ballardo, ballards with modified balls. There's Omelette You Cook, making sandwiches using ingredients from ever-growing deck. But while all these are obvious clones with sometimes identical interfaces, the creator of CloverPit didn't go quite that far and combined Balatro-style gameplay with a dark visual style of Backhood Roulette. We find ourselves trapped in a cramped, dirty room that resembles either a torture chamber or a prison cell that hasn't been cleaned in decades. In the corner is a broken toilet. Against the opposite wall is a trash can with something resembling the remains of a previous prisoner. Everywhere there is either dried blood or cigarette butts, and the only things missing to complete the picture are fat cockroaches. You want to escape, but the large iron door is locked, and an envoyed villain informs us through subtitles that they cannot let us out. We somehow transgressed, and now our task is to use a slot machine to earn coins and deposit the specific amount into the receptacle. The only catch is time is limited. This must be done within 3 rounds, otherwise a trapdoor in the floor will open and we will fall into a pit. But even if the debt is paid, we won't be released anywhere. A new sum will appear along with a new deadline, and so on infinitely. It's a bottomless debt pit. True, from the very beginning there are suspicions that some change of escape still exists. The door wasn't made an interactive object for nothing after all. In the first round we are given a handful of coins and 2 tickets. Coins have several uses. We either spend them in the machines for the new attempts, which always cost very little, or use them to pay off debt, which becomes increasingly difficult for each round. Tickets are needed to buy talismans, the equivalent of jokers from Balatro. Opposite the one-armed bandit is a display case with a 4 talisman and the ability to refresh the selection, with a varying prices. Some items can be bought immediately, while others require saving up currency. The number of tickets grows with each completed round and depends on our action and success. First, the player chooses how many tickets they want to receive. Either 1 for 7 spins in the machine or 2 for the 3 spins. Obviously, the change of earning any money with 3 spins are minimal. The soulless machine won't produce similar combination with every spin, but sometimes it makes sense to draw 1 of the 3 rounds to buy a cool talisman with bonus tickets. Second, each round offers the possibility to pay off debt early and receive even more tickets for it. This doesn't happen constantly, but sometimes the option is there, and you have to weigh all pros and cons. As with jokers, the starting talismans often determine what the strategy will be to the next run. You can focus on specific symbols, increasing the value of same, reduce the change of other appealing, and so on. Initially, 7s are the most valuable, rarely appearing on screen, while cherries and lemons give very few points, but after just a few rounds, everything can change, and thus some lemons become the most expensive. You can invest in upgrading combination. The more symbols in them, the larger the sums you receive. You can try increasing multipliers so that the total winnings increase several times over. The game has over 150 talismans in total, and most of them are unlocked by performing specific actions, so the longer you play CloverPit, the more options you have. You can, for example, create builds centered around the number of tickets in hand, or build where much depends on randomly activated talismans. Some of them have effects that trigger with a certain probability. Talismans appear that modify various symbols, giving tickets or increasing their value when combination with them appear. There are even builds based on the number of the beast, which can appear on the machine after the 3rd round and take away earned money. At the same time, the more talismans you unlock, the lower the chance of seeing something valuable in the shop. There's a lot of junk among the unlocks. While in the first runs achieving synergy between receiving bonuses is relatively easy, after several hours builds become increasingly disconnected, since all talismans improve completely different things. A simple example, talismans that increase the change of cherries, lemons, chest and everything else appearing. You can increase the value of these symbols by answering phone calls between deadlines, but seeing them on the machine becomes increasingly difficult each time. Because of this, plans often change several times during a run, making it difficult to reach later deadlines this way. So, at some point you begin to understand that the variety in the game isn't that great. So very large number of talismans are difficult to use effectively, or they appear in the shop too lately or too early. At the same time, there's a talisman that are significantly stronger than others, so much so that you can break the balance, for example with an ugly dealer, which after several rounds give tens and hundreds of thousands of coins on every second spin. Almost nothing can compare, and for successfully completing a run it's often easier to take it and not think about other options. Activating its effects require far fewer actions than building around other mechanics. Perhaps the main problem with CloverPit is almost everything depends on luck and the random number generator. In this regard, nothing connects to Balatro. There you can discard cards and choose which cards in your hand to use now and which to save for later. Here you simply approach the slot machine, push the lever and hope for miracle. The change of the number of the beast appearing is 1.5%. It doesn't matter, it can appear 3 times in a row, but when you increase the probability to 6, you stop seeing it at all. The change of lemons appears exceed 30%. They will appear, but there's no guarantee they will come from combination. You can't lock parts of the spinning wheel, so with the unlucky spin everything is erased and you will try again, and the next attempt might be worse than the previous one. In some sense this can be considered a satire of real casino. There no one is interested in victory either, but they're suspicious that the game simply has a poor balance. Watching millions and billions flashing on screen, perfectly forming seamless combination is fun for the first few hours, while you simultaneously unlock keys, open boxes in lockers with them, and gradually reach the ending. Plus, over time, run modifiers become available. Sometimes you won't get tickets and the end of rounds, sometimes the number of talismans and shop decrease, but the more time you spend in the game, the more evil it seems due to randomness, so interest wanes. CloverPit failed to become the new Balatro, although the consequences were also a gambling game. Also, the need to accumulate certain sums within limited time. Mechanics with gameplay affecting talismans similar to jokers. However, the builds have turned out to be less diverse and interesting, and during play it often seems that not much depends on you. As entertainment for several evenings, generation tons of dopamine in the first hours, CloverPit is good, and you don't need to fall into the raw debt pit for it, but it didn't become a long-term roguelike that you won't return again and again. So to sum up all of this, pros of the game is a fun slot machine without risk to your real wallet. When you manage to assemble a lucky build, gameplay brings enormous pleasure. Large number of challenges that reward new talismans for completion, and apparently disgusting cloth poly graphics. Cons is many talismans are either useless or require a lot of support, making it increasingly difficult to create full-fledged builds. Often feels like there's insufficient control over what's happening. Games quickly becomes monotonous. So, thank you for watching. Please subscribe.